weight loss is good, but weight loss and muscle gain is what you actually want. Because when you put on some muscle, you're going to feel stronger. You'll have no problem going up the stairs. You'll have no problem going on long hikes. You'll have no problem catching flights at the terminals at the airport. Hi, my name is Moe Ghias. Essentially, I'm a kid who's obsessed with winning. Hello. Welcome to Healthy Systems Podcast. My name is Coach Mo. I'm your host today. And today's Healthy System is about why corporate women, so women in corporate America, why do they struggle to lose weight, even if they're doing everything right? So I'm going to talk about some real strategies from being a certified personal trainer, fitness coach, nutrition coach, and behavior coach for the last decade, and having coached over probably like at this point, 1,500 to 2,000 corporate women. So at the end of the day, this is what ends up happening, and this is why a lot of people end up struggling. And a lot of the time what happens is when you're in college, when you're younger, you're good, right? You're pretty lean. You're able to get away with a lot of stuff. And then your metabolism is still pretty fast. And then when you get into real world and you're eating out more, you're going to work parties, you have a bigger social circle, bigger social life, you live in a big city, guess what? The weight just starts piling on, right? And then you are like, man, I'm going to try this new trendy thing that my girl is doing or that my friend is doing. And then you try that trendy thing and still nothing. And you end up it just feels like freaking frustration where you're like, man, I'm trying everything and nothing is working. And I call this the corporate fatigue trap. So I was in corporate America for several years. And my job at that time required travel, but I was also in the office. I also worked from home. So like, I know the different challenges of being in corporate America. And I used to call it the corporate fatigue trap, which means you wake up tired, you skip your breakfast, you live off of caffeine, you eat lunch at your desk, and you crash by 6 p.m., right? And then sometimes emails even come up after 6 p.m. But if you try to eat healthy or you try to go for walks, but your body just is just stressed, right? You're undernourished, you're inflamed. And weight gain, remember, is not just a willpower issue. It's not like, man, I just need to get more motivated or I just need to do this. It's often a system issue because all of us in corporate, we know that one person that is in really good shape. Everybody has that one person in their corporate office that's like really good. Maybe it's Emily from HR. Maybe it's Brian from IT, who's just like, he's always like, really like fit and healthy. And we look at that person like every time we run into them in the elevator, every time we run into them by the coffee stand, we're like, man, Brian, I got to get in shape. Man, Emily, I got to get my shit together. And the crazy thing is, it's not like they're better than you. It's not because they're more motivated than you. The only thing they have going that you currently are lacking is they have systems, routines in place that you currently do not, right? That's why your default ends up becoming skipping breakfast, eating whatever for lunch, maybe going out to eat, and then just being tired, fatigued, and lack of energy, right? Versus Brian and Emily's life is very different. They wake up early, maybe they hit the gym. They've been training for a couple of years. They've had coaches and trainers before. They know exactly what to do at the gym. They already have muscle mass, right? Their life is just different. They already have good awareness of nutrition. They're tracking their food. They know how many calories they should be eating. They know what proteins to eat. They know what foods to eat when they're ordering out. All of those things. So you see how like I just listed out 10 things and you were probably like, oh shit, I didn't know that. But the reason most fitness trainers don't talk about that is because they just want you to be like, yeah, try my 10-day ab challenge because that's going to really pop up your abs. And currently you're probably sitting at 25% body fat. Now you're not going to see your abs in 10-day ab challenge. It just won't happen. So at the end of the day, the reason a lot of my corporate friends and women, they get stuck in this cycle of just repetitive, frustrating things that don't work. They keep trying these extreme things, but they want to look like Emily in HR, but Emily in HR is, she doesn't look at it as a trendy thing. She looks at it as a lifestyle, right? She has systems in place. So the real reason you're stuck in fitness and nutrition is number one, and you please write this down because none of these are going to sound sexy, but they are the reason you are stuck. Number one, you are under eating protein. Okay. Most corporate women, according to studies, they eat around 60 grams of protein per day. But they actually need about 100 to 120 grams per day, okay? So you're under eating protein. And here's what happens when you under eat protein. Low protein equals poor recovery. And guess what increases when you eat less protein? Your cravings. You're going to have more cravings when you eat less protein. And then as a result, you're not going to have any muscle tone. So then now you're not building muscle, you're having poor recovery, and you have more cravings. Seems to me like a recipe for obesity, right? You're just going to keep gaining weight. So remember, protein is your number one fat loss tool. And I'm going to say it, it's not celery juice, it's protein, okay? Protein is your number one fat loss tool, not celery juice. Don't be that one person who's like, yo, I'm going to go on this celery juice diet and cleanse my liver. Your liver is already cleansed. Please stop trying to cleanse the freaking liver, right? And at the end of the day, you're just not eating enough protein. That's why you have more cravings and you stress eat and you emotional eat and you do all of that stuff. Celery juice itself is not going to do anything, okay? Celery itself is filling. So I'm not against celery. Celery itself, when you bite it, it's crunchy. Makes you feel like you're eating Doritos or something, right? But at the end of the day, those things are what they are, which is a small little vegetable, right? They're not a solution to your weight gain problem. I guess that's number one. You're under eating protein. And that's like the biggest reason you're stuck. Number two, the second reason you're stuck in your fitness journey is you are not strength training, right? Cardio is great. You see me walking right now, right? It is aerobic exercise, a little bit of cardio. Cardio is great, but muscle is what changes your body shape. So that Emily with the perfect curves in the HR department, or like, that CrossFit girl that you'd see, she's not running 19 miles a day. She's lifting some weights. She might still be running a couple miles a day, 2 to 3 miles, but she's not actually, that's not the only thing she's doing. She's also lifting some weights. Okay. So when you're not strength training, you're actually going to struggle to build muscle tone and you're going to struggle to change your body shape. Right. So a lot of the time what happens is people are like, yeah, I'm just going to go on Ozempic. I'm going to go do this. I'm going to go do this. It's like, okay, now you're big, you're overweight, right? Over fat. And when you go on Ozempic, it's going to suppress your appetite. You're just going to get smaller. So the balloon big, now balloon small, right? But then the body still looks the same, right? You're going to have more loose skin. You're not going to feel as good. And it's small. And most of the time, weight loss is good, but weight loss and muscle gain is what you actually want. Because when you put on some muscle, you're going to feel stronger. You'll have no problem going up the stairs. You'll have no problem going on long hikes. You'll have no problem catching flights at the terminals at the airport, right? You'll just be fitter and stronger. So at the end of the day, the real reason you're stuck is you're under eating protein. Number two, you're not strength training, right? So here's what I want you to do. Lifting 2 to 3 times per week will actually increase your metabolism. It will also be great for your insulin. So this rise of PCOS and all these other problems that are hormonal, they're very metabolic issues, right? So insulin problems, strength training will solve those as well. And then you also feel more confident. And the thing is, you will not ever, ever, ever get bulky. So like that image of you of bodybuilder like Ronnie Coleman, you're like, Mo, man, I don't want to get too bulky. I'm like, Ronnie Coleman trained for 30 years and was on every steroid on God's earth. And he had genetics like nobody else. You are overweight at 30. You don't have the best genetics in the world. So just by lifting some dumbbells, you're not going to turn into some bodybuilding dude ever, 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 ever. Like, it's not like miracles happen, but those type of miracles will never happen, right? So at the end of the day, you don't get bulky. You actually will just get toned and defined. Now, number 3. So I talked about the reasons you're stuck. Number 1, you're under eating protein. Number 2, you're not strength training. Number 3, you are overstimulated and under recovered. What that means is during the day at your corporate job, high cortisol levels, high stress, you're managing teams, you're managing projects. And especially as you ride the ladder, you go from like, let's say business analyst role to like a project manager role and sales executive role. Or as you keep riding the ladder, the number of people you're managing keeps increasing. The amount of stress you have keeps increasing. So now that high cortisol equals fat storage, right? So now you're storing more fat because you are stressed. Guess what else cortisol does? When you have high cortisol, now you're going to be craving more snacks that are at the coffee station. So now you're just eating more junk food. So then you're storing more fat. You have low energy. And every time you eat one of those snacks, you crave more of them. So then more cravings. So the thing is, you cannot outwork stress. You have to manage it. You manage that with proper sleep, hydration, drinking plenty of water, short walks, right? All of those things. Because sometimes fat loss is less about what you do and more about what you recover from. So recovery is huge when it comes to fat loss. Okay. So I want you to get plenty of sleep. I want you to hydrate well, keep a water bottle around you at your job, right? Do all of those things to make sure that you stay, your body, your internal biochemistry stays in peak environment. And then now I'm going to give you some quick, simple coaching tips that I've given my clients over the years that have really helped them, like the meal method, we call it, movement, mindset, etc. These little things like how to actually structure your day. So if you're not a client of mine right now, obviously if you're a client, we will go even deeper. We'll help you like really simplify your fitness and your nutrition, and I'll break it down step by step. By the way, if you ever want coaching, just go to our website, twtt.us. It's just short for Training with the Titans. So twtt.us. Just go to that website, and on top you'll see become a client, and then you can fill out a quick application, and then you and I can chat, or somebody from one of my coaches can chat with you on how you can become a client. But once, like, essentially, like, the reason people hire us for coaching is we can really simplify it. So we'll really get to know you. We'll really get to know your struggles. We'll get to know your commute. Maybe you work from home, whatever the situation is. We truly customize things to you. Okay. That's what one-on-one coaching is. Like, instead of just giving you generic podcast advice, in our coaching, we truly get to know you. So then I can really customize things to you. And then week after week, we talk almost daily with our clients. Then we're talking daily. We're solving problems that come up every week. We're doing check-ins. Those check-ins really help, because then we know, is Amanda losing weight, or is she stuck? Is she plateaued? So then we can make pivots. We can change it, because we've done it, for 8 years. We know exactly the problems you'll encounter. So then if you have a goal, our job is to get you to that goal within a certain amount of time. So, but for those of you that are just listening to the podcast, I'll give you some like quick, simple formula. So when it comes to the meals, right, the food that you're going to eat, especially if you're in corporate America, I want you to stick with 3 meals a day. Okay. Each with protein, fiber, fats. So when you look at your plate, I want you to have, 4 to 6 ounces of protein. That can be your chicken, tuna, steak, turkey. All of those are good sources of protein. And then you have fibers. Those are your vegetables, right? So having good vegetables, you can have broccoli, zucchini, stuff like that. You can air fry them. You can, there's several different ways you can use it. Or you can just have an avocado too. I love avocados. They can be a good source, especially when you're in corporate. You might not have enough space in the fridge to take frozen vegetables with you, or, take raw vegetables. So avocados seem to be the easiest to transport. So you can just take a whole avocado or half of it, and then you can just eat that. That's the meal. So stick with 3 meals a day. Have a proper breakfast before you go to work. Please wake up a little bit early so you can actually have a proper breakfast. Some eggs and Greek yogurt to get you to at least 30 to 40 grams of protein. That is essentially a very good breakfast. Then you have lunch. Lunch can be chicken, rice, avocado. It can be turkey, sweet potatoes, and then something else, right? So it's just about how we structure the plate. But overall, having a good proper lunch so you don't have to go eat out all the time. Or if you are eating out, we have built meal plans for our clients to tell them like what to get when they eat out. So if you want that, let me know. But overall, the biggest thing being is just stick with the 3 meals a day structure. And then the movement. This movement is really going to help, which is I want you to do 3 strength workouts a week, right? So these can be 30 minutes, right? Dumbbells, kettlebells, machines at the gym, whatever you have access to, 3 strength workouts a week. And I want you to push yourself. You know what I mean? Like, obviously, if you're a complete beginner, don't push yourself too hard, because I do not ever want you to get injured or anything like that. But overall, just, don't be, here's what happens. This is why I'm saying this with a caveat. Far too often we get out of our corporate jobs, our brains are fried, we're too tired. So then we go to the gym, kind of just do the bare minimum. Bare minimum is still really good, but it's just like not enough to make progress, right? So that's why when you go to the gym, I want you to just kind of push yourself. Maybe your body is going to be deficient in electrolytes. Maybe it's dehydrated. So that's why what we do leading up to the workout is very important. So before the workout, feel free to have a quick fruit. You can have a banana. You can have an apple. Those are all good. Or even a date, right? Dates are actually very, very good. You can have 2 dates and then sprinkle some, if you don't have any, if your doctor didn't tell you to avoid salt, I would sprinkle some pink Himalayan salt on it. That'll give you some good energy when you walk into the gym. I've had clients that that like honey. We would sprinkle some honey on it too. Just a quick sweetness that are good organic sources. And then when you go to the gym, you'll just have more energy. And then maybe we do another episode on supplements because there's like a whole science of supplements that can actually really help you with this. But overall, I want you to get to the gym and be like, yeah, this is my therapy. This is the place that I go to get stronger. That's how, like when I was in corporate America, I would actually wake up early. And funny story on that, when I would travel to different hospitals across America, because my job was mostly in the support side. So I would walk in, I was mostly like the project manager-esque, right? So like it wasn't officially a project manager, but after the onboarding had happened, project managers had gone. They moved on to other projects. So then my job was to make sure that other issues that show up, the clients are happy, the hospitals are happy, because each hospital had like over, 300 to 500 doctors. So then my job, and they had trainers. It's like my job was making sure all these people were not having any ongoing issues and everything was solved. So whenever I would go, I would like meet up with, different people. And I remember one time, this is like very early on in my career. I remember one time I woke up. At that time, I was just getting into physique competitions, and I had just won like 3 of these medals that you see. This was in 2017, and I was in Madison, Wisconsin. And I woke up at around like 4 a.m. I went to the LA Fitness. I had a week guest pass, and I go and I train there. I remember thinking to myself, Mo, why are you training? Like you're already shredded. You know what I mean? Why are we training at 4 a.m.? Because at that time, it wasn't about my weight loss goal or anything like that. It was like therapy. And I was like, I don't know who I will encounter today. These are all new team members. I've never met them before. I don't know if they'll be mean, if they'll be nice. I don't know what their mental states will be. And instead of them affecting my mental state and kind of ruining my week because they were in a bad mood, when I train and I deadlift and I lift weights, I used to have a saying that once you deadlift 225 or 315 in the morning, nobody can ruin your day because you just feel like a rock star, right? So I remember lifting weights at the gym because I wanted to prime my mental state so it's not reactive. I go into work, I'm going to meet new people, things are going to go bad. But at the end of the day, if my mental state has already been primed, like Tony Robbins says, I am good. So that's like another reason, like, strength training can really help you in corporate America, because every time you feel stressed, you don't need to see a therapist. What you need is something in your routine that is actually helping prime you, right? So I was talking actually this weekend, I was in Nashville, Tennessee. I was at a conference and I met up with the CEO of Raw Nutrition. Not like met up, but he was giving a talk. So we ended up having a one-on-one conversation after. But I was talking to him and I was like, he's running a $2 billion a year empire, basically. Raw Nutrition does hundreds of millions, and then he has other businesses. And this is a huge company with hundreds of employees. And I was talking to Dominic about it, and I was like, how do you manage stress? And he goes, bro, he looks at me, he goes, I just run a lot. And I was like, that's cool. Because at the end of the day, I don't think a therapist would understand a man who's making that much money or like has that much stress. And it's like the bigger the empire, the bigger the demons that come for you too. You know what I mean? So that's why like I would rather all of you who are very successful in your career, instead of just focusing on things that, like, oh, I'm going to go see my therapist. Therapists can help and all those things are good, but I still want you to have coping mechanisms. And I think strength training, eating healthy can be great coping mechanisms, or at least they have been to me and to a lot of people I've talked to. So sorry for the side tangent. Let's get back into it. So 3 strength workouts. And then you can focus on getting about, 6 to 10,000 steps a day. Steps are great because they'll keep your heart moving. I notice I'm in a better mental state when I'm able to like get my steps in. So when you're in your job, maybe like a light walk after your meetings. If you have your office in a downtown area, which is nice, you can go for a walk around the block. That will also be good. So we talked about meal method, 3 meals a day. We talked about movement, 3 strength workouts a week. And then I want you to also take care of your mindset because that's going to dictate everything. And for that, a really easy thing I like doing is journaling. Journal for 1 to 2 minutes every day, using the 4 F's I've always taught you guys: the faith, family, fitness, finances. Rate yourself on those areas. How am I doing this week, right? Which one is lacking? Have I missed my workouts? Is my fitness lacking, etc.? And just remember, you don't need more motivation. Emily and Brian in the IT department who are in really good shape, they don't have more motivation. They just have better systems, right? They have something, they have coaches, a community, something on the side that's actually like really helping them. And you currently don't because you're trying to do it on your own and you have never been in great shape in your life. So now you're having to like just learn a skill you've never learned before. Having a coach just makes it easy. So it's super recommendable to have a coach, hire a trainer, even for like 4 months. Like our clients, our first program is just 4 months long. So it's like, hey, come on in. We'll teach you a lot. And then you can take all of those skills. You can take all of those routines that we're going to adapt for you. And then you can take it for the rest of your life. And one last favor I have for you guys is we just started our Google page. So if you ever gotten value from Healthy Systems or if you ever learned anything from me, I've been pouring my heart into this project for a year and a half now. And we don't have any sponsors. I turned down a sponsorship yesterday because they were just wanting me to push down products. I just didn't like it. So I told them, like, no. So overall, we don't have any sponsorships for this. Training with the Titans is what sponsors it. So I have a favor to ask. We just created our Google business page. So if you go on Google and just type Training with the Titans, you'll be able to leave a review. It takes less than 30 seconds, and then you can just do that. Just write something nice. Give me a 5-star. It just helps a lot, helps spread the word, and then more people can find out about it and learn a lot of these things for free. And maybe a lot of people are stuck, and I don't want them to be stuck too, because a lot of the time, the only difference between being stuck and being free of all stuckedness is lack of information. So when you don't have information, you don't see the options, you're like, man, I'm just stuck. I'm a bad person. My body's messed up. When I was talking to a client yesterday, she said, she left a review. You can read it on Google. She said, Nawal, she said, I thought I had hypothyroidism and PCOS and all these problems, and that's why I wasn't losing weight. She's like, come Coach Mo and Coach Zishan. They helped me lose 20 pounds while still eating my cultural foods and still keeping my corporate job. And Naval had a corporate job, or has a corporate job where she travels 1 hour to work every morning and then 1 hour back. So like we had to like really, build a plan that works with that. So at the end of the day, that's what we do as coaches. No matter how hard your life is, our job is to make fitness easy for you and really fit your life. Like look at everything you got going on, and then we'll make fitness fit with it. What's currently happening with you is you're trying to make your life fit with fitness, and that often doesn't work. I'm not even sure if I'm saying it right, but it's kind of like you're just battling. You have this busy career. And you're like, man, yeah, I'm going to try a celery juice. I'm going to try this keto diet. Mom says do this. Aunt says do this. I'm going to just keep winging it. It's kind of like throwing spaghetti at the wall. It's just random shit. Random things lead to random results. It's just not going to help you. So at the end of the day, if you can leave me a review at Training with the Titans on Google, that would be amazing. Second, if you want more info on coaching, just go to twtt.us and then you can book a call with me. Then we'll chat one-on-one. I'll get to know you better, see if we can help you. If I can't help you, I won't tell you about coaching. If anything, I'll just give you some free resources and we'll go from there. But overall, hope this helps. I'll see you guys in the next one. Keep kicking butt and taking names. I'm proud of you, and I'll see you on the next one. Thank you for listening to the Healthy Systems podcast. I really appreciate you for tuning in today. Now, here are 2 ways I can help you for free. One, you can join our free Facebook community by just going to this link, bit.ly/Titan Facebook group. Just type that into your browser and then answer 2 questions, and then we'll let you into our Facebook community where you'll meet other people, as well as we have a lot of free resources in terms of meal plans, workouts, all kinds of stuff in there. Second way I can help you for free is if you follow me on Instagram at Moe Ghias, MOE, G as in George, H as in horse, I as in India, A as in apple, S as in Sam. Follow me there and then shoot me a message with the word Healthy Systems, and then I'll be sure to send you a free gift. Other than that, keep listening in, and I really appreciate you.